My name's Omi and this is part 2 of the Anki tutorial. Last time we covered how to set up and install the program as well as the add-ons. We set our preferences and deck options and went over some basics in card formatting. Today we'll be discussing the card types we'll be using in our preparation. Anki is open source, so anyone can create add-ons or card types. For the MCAT, you only need to learn how to use two card types. They are the Cloze card type and image occlusion card type. I'll be going into detail on each one and how to best use their features. The first and probably most useful card type is Cloze. Now normally you would write something on the front of a flashcard and have an answer or explanation on the back. With Cloze, you write a statement in the front and then blank out certain important words or phrases. When you reveal the back of the card, the blanked out parts are revealed. We'll see this in action in a little bit, but what this allows you to do is select the most relevant words for a definition or concept and test yourself on recalling those keywords. The syntax for the Cloze card can seem complex, but once you've made it a few times, it'll become second nature. First, let's demo how to make a Cloze card. We'll be using the test deck we made last time. First, click on the deck and click Add to add a new card. This will open the Add New Card window. At the top left corner, make sure you have Cloze selected as the type. There are a few other options here, but just click the one that just says Cloze. The text field is where you'll input the text of your card. Let's take the example card I showed before. Once we have the text, we need to decide what part of the statement is the most useful to memorize or test. I want to know the functional group that makes up a peptide bond, so I'll close out or blank out the word amide. This is a skill you need to develop with practice. You need to make smart decisions on what is the most important and the most concise part of a concept that represents the entire concept. The syntax to close out text is a bit complicated, but thankfully there are shortcuts so you shouldn't have to type it out all the time. First, highlight the text you want to close. Double-click to highlight words, or click and drag for phrases. Once it's highlighted, you can either click the symbol in the upper right that looks like square brackets surrounding an ellipses, or you can use the shortcut Ctrl-Shift-C. You should try using the shortcuts whenever you can because it will save you a ton of time. Now you can see the syntax. Your highlighted text is contained within double curly braces. There's a C1, which designates it as the first close, and then a double colon. Alright, now we should format our card to make it visually distinctive. Always bold your closed text. First you need to highlight the word, and you can use this button here with the capital B or the shortcut Ctrl-B. Use color to highlight important parts of the statement surrounding your closed text. I'll color and bold functional group and peptide bond so I can immediately recognize what the card is asking. There are a few more useful features of the card we can use. The back extra field is for any supplementary information related to the card that you might want to reference. The information here will be revealed along with your closeout text. You can paste images or write up a little explanation or even a warning to not confuse an idea with another. I like using the back extra field for mnemonics, so let's find an image of an amide bond and paste it in. So I found this image on Google. You can just right click and copy image and then paste it right into the back extra field. When we're done, we can click Add or use the shortcut Ctrl-Enter to add the card into our deck. You might have noticed these symbols to the left of the text field and the back extra field. These buttons are used to freeze the content that are in those fields so you can generate another card with the same information. So say if we wanted to keep this image for a different card, we can click this and it will keep it there when we add this card. For this text field, say if I wanted to use the structure of what we already have to make a new card, I can click Freeze Field and then add the card, and it will keep the text that I already typed in. So I don't have to retype it, I can just edit it. It's marking it red because it's a duplicate card. But say if I just want to tweak this a little, I can change this to DNA formation, and I can change the functional group to phosphodiester. So now we just created a second card without having to type up the entire sentence over again. Now we can just add this to our deck. Now that our cards are added, we can review it by going back to our deck's menu. Now we can see that there's a blue number 2 next to our deck. The blue color indicates that there are new cards to learn. Once you've learned it, it'll turn green. Anki considers the card learned once you've reviewed it twice. You can see in my other decks I have a ton of green cards. Those are the ones that I've learned but have yet to review. Once you learn a card, Anki will schedule it for you at the intervals we specified in the deck options. Click on the deck, and then click Study Now. Now we see our card with the text missing. When reviewing cards on a computer, you can hit the spacebar to reveal the blank. At the bottom, we can see a few options. If we couldn't remember the blank, we would select Again. If we did remember, we can select Good, and if we think we really don't need to be tested on the card too often, we can hit Easy. Each option will push the card forward a certain interval into the future. You can see if we hit Easy, we won't see the card again until 4 days later. If we hit Good, we'll see it again in 15 minutes. Every time you select Again, it resets the time interval to the lowest one and starts spacing it out from there. These options should be mapped to the number keys by default, so the leftmost option is 1, and then 2 and 3 for easy. If you accidentally select the wrong option, you can press the Z key to undo. But be careful, because if you undo without selecting an option, you may undo an edit you made on the card. This will only be an issue if you decide to change your card while reviewing by clicking the Edit button or by using the shortcut E. So if I accidentally hit Again or the number 1, but I meant to hit Good, I can click Z and that will give me the card again, and I'm able to give the correct option. At the bottom of the window, we see a few numbers. These are the cards remaining in your current deck. Blue means new, green means review, and red means learning. After you correctly answer a new card twice, it'll move into your regular reviews. So say if I answer this good, now we see it move into the red. There are 2 cards that we're learning. If we get the learning cards right twice, so say if I answer this and say good again, we see that it's gone from here. It's entered into tomorrow's review cards. So if we get this last card right again, we'll finish the deck, and next time it will only appear as green. If we get it wrong in the future, it'll revert to red. Those are the basics of the Cloze card type. Now I'll show you some advanced features. Remember when we closed our text, it said C1. That's because we can close as many blocks of text as we want to generate multiple cards from one statement. In Anki, a note is made up of multiple cards. In our original example, I might also want to close the word peptide to understand that amide groups are associated with peptide bonds. If we close a second word, it says C2, which is our second card. This is a powerful tool that will allow us to test different parts of the same concept, further reinforcing our memory. Our note is the entire statement, and each uniquely numbered cloze is a card. In another situation, we might want to have multiple closes with the same card number. It's important to logically pair what parts of the cards we want to remember to avoid making 10 cards from the same note. Try to limit it to 3 cards per note. In this example, I have 1 C1 and 2 C2s. In order to do this, you can simply edit the syntax and change the number. So you can just type it in. You want to try to close text strategically so that you have enough information to get the blank, but not so much that it's too obvious. If one of your closes is repeated in the statement, you want to give it the same card number so you don't give away the other blank. In this example, I gave all the words that indicated a relationship like increase, decrease, or inhibit the same card number. Another thing we can do is close an image. This may be useful in situations where we grab an equation from an image or just want to copy and paste it into a cloze rather than trying to format it ourselves in the text field. For example, if I want to test my ability to recall Snell's law, I can simply screenshot or copy it from an image online. So in this image, I just want to grab the formula, so I can use the shortcut Shift, Windows key, and S, and then select just the part with the formula. Next, I can make an empty close by using the shortcut Control Shift and then C, and then I can paste in the image that I just screenshotted. So when I go to review this card and I hit the space bar, it will reveal this image rather than text like in our previous examples. What if you find that you made a card that's too hard or too general? You can add hints to your cards, like the number of words in the phrase or the number of items in the list that you're looking for. In my experience, using hints makes the process less frustrating and actually more efficient. You won't waste time wondering which card you're looking at. Don't worry, it's not cheating. You'll end up remembering it even when using the hints. Also, there are a ton of concepts that have the same effect or very similar definitions, so you can simply add a hint saying that it's not that other similar term. I often use hints to say whether the word I'm looking for is a category or a specific word. In this example, I use the hint enzyme because the blank could easily have been a metabolic process like fatty acid oxidation. The syntax for a hint is to follow your closed out text with a double colon and then typing out your hint after the double colon. You won't be able to anticipate what hints you'll need until you've been using Anki for a while, but as a longtime user, I'm always editing and improving my cards while I review them, and I'm doing this sometimes days or weeks later. So let's look at what a hint looks like. We'll add this card, and then we'll go back to our decks, click on the test deck, and click Study Now. Now you can see here that the hint that we typed in after the double colon shows up instead of the ellipses that used to be there. One warning I have is not to alter the closed syntax. It's quite sensitive to formatting, so be careful not to bold the colons or curly braces by accident. It'll happen, but just restore them back to the default text style and color. If you accidentally delete a curly brace or a colon, just type it back in. When you're reviewing your cards, you might see the effect of formatting the syntax incorrectly. You might actually see this C1 show up. That's totally fine. Just edit the cards and find out what was missing and fix it and continue reviewing the card. This is just a summary of what we just went over. And these are the shortcuts we covered. Pause the video if you want to refer to these. Next time, I'll cover how to edit your cards using the Browse feature and our second card type, image occlusion. Thanks for watching.